Angel. The angels, Tenshi, are life forms of extremely high status within the hierarchy of the multiverse. Their role is to guide and teach gods of destruction to master their destructive capabilities while also serving them as their personal attendants. In the case of the Grand Minister, however, his duties are to serve and to advise Zeno. As deities, they possess godly ki. Whis has mentioned the angel realm and his home planet. There are two known types of angels, guide angels, Gato Tenshi, and trainee angels. In the manga and anime, it was revealed that the Grand Minister is the father of all other known angels, with Kusa being the oldest child. Racial traits. Angels have no need for food, though they can eat as a luxury. They also have no need for sleep, unlike gods of destruction and supreme kais. Angels are almost completely unable to die, with the only way they can be removed from existence being if they violate the angel laws, which will automatically cause them to disappear. However, if directly commanded by the respective angel's god of destruction, they can bypass the only angel law. This is seen when Whis rewinds time for the Z fighters to kill Frisia after he resurrected and attained the golden form under Beerus' command, as well as when Whis resurrected Frisia under Beerus' command. There are many other instances of these. Angels have been seen to have abilities not generally seen among mortals or even gods, such as Ultra Instinct, Warp and Temporal Do-Over. It is additionally mentioned by Beerus to Vegeta that angels such as Whis are constantly using Ultra Instinct, and as such are comfortable using it without bodily strain, similar to Goku's principle for Super Saiyan full power. This would explain why all angels have silver-colored hair, though this is pure speculation. Appearance. Angels appear as humanoid creatures with pale blue skin, white hair, violet eyes, and various heights. When at full power, an angel possesses a blue halo around their necks, with the exception of the Grand Minister, whose halo floats vertically behind his head. When not at full power, no halo is present. Their clothing bears similarities to Zeno, while the patterns on their clothes resemble the gods of destruction they serve. Their white hair, occasionally puffed sleeves and pastel skin gives them a striking resemblance to the Supreme Kais as well, giving angels a strong visual link to all factions of the godly establishment. Personality. Much like Zeno and future Zeno, whom they serve, the angels are generally remorseless and indifferent, with exceptions such as Whis, not caring at all about the lives of others. According to their laws, angels must remain neutral, siding with neither good nor evil, and cannot ask for assistance in saving their universe if it's ever in danger. That includes not only mortals, but also the gods themselves. Beyond this rule, however, the angels are not restricted in what they can or cannot do. Furthermore, as amoral as they may be, angels can lend their assistance to others, such as Whis rewinding time for Goku for a second chance to finish off Frisia. Another is when Whis tells future Trunks and future Mai that he is going to go and alter the future timeline by warning future Beerus of Goku Black and Zamis's Project Zero mortals. They also follow the commands of their lords, the lords being the gods of destruction, Supreme Kais, but also the Omni Kings and the Grand Priest. This indifferent behavior is exemplified several times, as the Grand Minister announces universal destruction with a smile, Vados prompting Kampa and Beerus to fight on their birthday, Mahito chuckling after the destruction of his universe and his fellow gods, although this may have been due to the fact that his gods mortals were incompetent and was just glad to be free of them as opposed to actual indifference, as he was seen to be genuinely upset at his universe's inability to gather warriors. In a timely manner, and perhaps most notably of all, Whis open and nonchalant mockery to the gods of his universe, as, when his father declares that the angels of the universes are the only beings to be spared by the two Zenos, he simply states his position is different than theirs, and laughs at them, establishing that despite having spent hundreds of millions of years at the side of their destroyers, angels do not tend to involve themselves emotionally with anything or anyone, except, perhaps, with each other. However, there are some exceptions to this. It has been shown that Universe 10's Kusu has fun with her fellows Rumshi and Gawasu, and that she was also shown deeply grief-stricken when her universe was erased from existence following Team Universe 10's elimination from the Tournament of Power, calling her lord's name, Rumshi, one last time in mourning. Campari was worried about his god of destruction and Supreme Kai, and he seemed to be involucrate in his team as he was, at some point, shocked by some eliminations of Universe 3. In the manga, he also lied to Zeno about what Mule said, to potentially spare his gods from being erased. Sauer also looked solemn after his universe was erased and did show some respect for the efforts of some of his universe's team members. Vados appeared to be genuinely sad after Universe 6 had lost, even despite having earlier mocked them and bowed to Kampa in respect afterwards. Whis also indulged himself into the performance of the Universe 17, showcasing quite a few times his serious side, despite having laughed at Beerus for his fate, and showed genuine concern when Goku collapsed from the strain of using Ultra Instinct. This indicates that angels are capable of caring for others, but they are also fully capable of faking that they don't. In addition, the Grand Minister showed approval of Android 17's selfless wish to restore the universes despite earlier having grinned at their destruction and praised Universe 7 not only for their battle power but also for their selflessness, while all the angels behind him, including those who had remained nonchalant and even maliciously smiled at the erasure of their universes, smiled in genuine approval and happiness, further showing that they aren't as heartless as they show themselves to be. It's possible that said angels had suspected that their universes would eventually be restored and therefore merely put up a facade of coldly not caring. Nevertheless, the angels do seem to have limits as to how far they are willing to push the nerves of the deities whom they work alongside and serve, as Whis has been seen sweating nervously sometimes when Beerus looked at him seriously and noted that no one should annoy and or anger a god of destruction, Zeno, future Zeno, or the Grand Minister, not even an angel like him. Although angels are never afraid to take action, especially when subduing their gods of destruction. Also, the angels tend to be well-mannered and well-humored, respecting mortals and gods alike, and treating them as equals during a conversation. Despite serving the gods of destruction, they are also lorded over by the equally high-ranking Supreme Kais and tend to refer to them by title as well, in addition to their names. In the manga, whenever the angels are in Zeno's presence, except the Grand Minister, they would give their respects to the deity by bowing their heads, putting their right fist to the ground and kneeling with their right knee. While angels are supposed to be neutral in the affairs of mortals, Meru's demonstrates that they can develop a sense of justice and a desire to fight evil. However, doing so violates angel laws, and the punishment for doing so is complete eradication. Eradication, however, never happened to Meru's when he was fighting for the side of good, Galactic Patrol. This might have something to do with the fact that he never used his angel powers against Moro and his goons. Though the punishment may seem harsh, given their power and Angel's power could potentially upset the natural balance and interfere with the growth of said universe's mortal population. Despite his desire to fight Moro, Meru's agreed to return from Universe 7 once his elder brother Whis intervened, leaving Moro's defeat up to Goku, Vegeta, and the Dragon Team. However, Whis permitted his brother to stay on Beerus planet in the Heavenly Realm to observe the conflict with Moro Corps. Though Meru's still interfere by saving the Z-Fighters from Moro. Meru's went as far as to fight Moro by breaking his copy ability and punching him in the face before fading out of existence. However, after Moro's defeat, Meru's existence was restored by the Grand Minister due to a request from Shin, though he is brought back as a mortal with a definitive lifespan, though Meru's is ultimately okay with stipulation, and he returns to his position as a member of the Galactic Patrol. Power. The angels possess unfathomable might, having power beyond the gods of destruction and creation skills similar to the Supreme Kais. They are always in the perfected Ultra Instinct state, and as such have instinctual dodging capabilities. So far, they have shown an assortment of mystical abilities, such as warping, magic materialization, divination, healing, resurrection and space-time manipulation. However, they are unable to revive anyone killed by a demon. Angels all possess the ability to use Ultra Instinct, and unlike others who need to transform to achieve it, angels are always in an instinct state. Most angels wield an angel attendant staff, which they can use for a variety of purposes. The Grand Minister even has one in the manga. Their strength seems to be the catalyst of training their respective gods of destruction, and also to prevent said gods from getting out of hand and going on a rampage. This is evident when Whis and Vados interfered between Beerus and Compa's battle, as the ensuing fight would destroy Universes 6 and 7. Despite their subservient nature to the gods of destruction and Supreme Kais, they hold a designation above that of the gods, as Zeno spared the angels from being erased in the Tournament of Power. Despite their power, they are bound by laws that prevent them from directly fighting threats such as Moro. However, they may indirectly assist by training mortals as shown by Meru's training Goku and or if their god of destruction request, they do such as Beerus permitting Whis to use Temporal Do-Over to help the Dragon Team defeat Frieza and to expose Samus's evil nature. A guide angel is allowed to fight as long as they do not utilize their full strength, as Meru's was allowed to fight as a member of the Galactic Patrol as long as he held back his true power, and Whis briefly sparred with Super Saiyan Broly when the mighty Saiyan attempted to ambush him. Additionally, they may also destroy planets if their god of destruction requests it, as shown by Vados when she destroyed a planet on Compa's orders. They can also assist other deities such as the Guardian of Earth, besides the Supreme Kais and gods of destruction. Due to their role in training the gods of destruction and potential candidates for the position, they share similar abilities such as God Meteor and Super Star Break, as well as being powerful enough to destroy planets at the request of their respective god of destruction, as shown when Vados destroyed a planet on Compa's orders, even though said planet was located in Universe 7, which is technically outside of Compa's jurisdiction as the god of destruction of Universe 6 and Vados' position as the guide angel of Universe 6. Several other entities identified as angels who do not share any similarities with the guide and trainee angels appear throughout the series: the Gachans, deceased people in Otherworld, Tenshi, the angels of hell, and the angel from the underworld Janemba.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.